Good morning. Today's Bible reading is from Deuteronomy 26 through 28. Let me get my eyeballs on and we'll get into it. Once you enter the land that God your God is giving you as an inheritance and take it over and settle down, you are to take some of the first fruits of what you grow in the land that God your God is giving you. Put them in a basket and go to the place God your God sets apart for you to worship him. At that time, go to the priest who is there and say, I announce to God, your God, today that I have entered the land of God, promised our ancestors that he'd give to us. The priest will take the basket from you, place it on the altar of God, your God, and there in the presence of God, your God, you will recite. A wandering Aramean was my father. He went down to Egypt and sojourned there, he and just a handful of his brothers at first, but soon they became a great nation, mighty and many. The Egyptians abused and battered us in a cruel and savage slavery. We cried out to God, the God of God, our fathers. He listened to our voice. He saw our destitution, our trouble, our cruel plight. And God took us out of Egypt with his strong hand and long arm, terrible and great, with signs and miracle wonders. And he brought us to this place, gave us this land, flowing with milk and honey. So here I am. I've brought the first fruits of what I've grown on this ground you gave me, O God. It's not a bad prayer to put out there just every day, is it? Then place it in the presence of God, your God. Prostrate yourselves in the presence of God, your God, and rejoice. Celebrate all the good things that God, your God, has given you and your family, you and the Levite and the foreigner who lives with you. Every third year, the year of the tithe, give a tenth of your produce to the Levite, the foreigner, the orphan, and the widow, so that they may eat their fill in your cities. Then, in the presence of God, your God, say this: I have brought the sacred share. I've given it to the Levite, foreigner, orphan, and widow. What you've commanded, I've done. I haven't detoured around your commands. I haven't forgotten a single one. I haven't eaten from the sacred share while mourning. I haven't removed any of it while ritually unclean. I haven't used it in funeral feast. I have listened obediently to the voice of God, my God. I have lived the way you commanded me. Look down from your holy house in heaven. Bless your people Israel and the ground you gave us, just as you promised our ancestors you would, the land flowing with milk and honey. This very day God, your God, commands you to follow these rules and regulations to live out with everything you have in you. You've renewed your vows today that God is your God, that you'll live the way he shows you. Do what he tells you in the rules, regulations, and commandments, and listen obediently to him. And today God has reaffirmed that you are a dearly held treasure, just as he promised, a people entrusted with keeping his commandments, a people set high above all other nations, that he's made high in praise, fame, and honor. You're a people holy to God, your God. That's what he has promised. Moses commanded the leaders of Israel and charged the people, keep every commandment that I command you today, on the day you cross the Jordan into the land that God, your God, is giving you. Erect large stones and coat them with plaster. As soon as you cross over the river, write on the stones all the words of this revelation, so that you'll enter the land that God, your God, is giving you, that land flowing with milk and honey that God, the God of your fathers, promised you. So when you've crossed the Jordan, erect those stones on Mount Ebal. Then coat them with plaster. Build an altar of stones for God, your God, there on the mountain. Don't use an iron tool on the stones. Build the altar to God, your God, with uncut stones, and offer your whole burnt offerings on it to God, your God. When you sacrifice your peace offerings, you will also eat them there, rejoicing in the presence of God, your God. Write all the words of this revelation on the stones. Incise them sharply. Moses and the Levitical priest addressed all Israel. Quiet. Listen obediently, Israel. This very day you have become the people of God, your God. Listen to the voice of God, your God. Keep his commandments and regulations that I'm commanding you today. That day Moses commanded, after you've crossed the Jordan, these tribes will stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people: Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And these will stand on Mount Ebal for the curse: Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. The Levites, acting as spokesmen and speaking loudly, will address Israel. God's curse on anyone who carves or casts a God image, an abomination to God, made by a craftsman, and sets it up in secret. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who demeans a parent. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who moves his brother's boundary marker. It moves his neighbor's boundary marker. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who misdirects a blind man on the road. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who interferes with justice to the foreigner, orphan, or widow. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who has sex with his father's wife. He has violated the woman who belongs to his father. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who has sex with an animal. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who has sex with his sister, the daughter of his father or mother. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who has sex with his mother-in-law. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who kills his neighbor in secret. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on anyone who takes a bribe to kill an innocent person. All respond, yes, absolutely. God's curse on whoever does not give substance to the words of this revelation by living them. All respond, yes, absolutely. If you listen obediently to the voice of God, your God, and heartily obey all his commandments that I command you today, God, your God, will place you on high, high above all the nations of the world. All these blessings will come down on you and spread out beyond you because you have responded to the voice of God, your God. God's blessing inside the city, God's blessing in the country, God's blessing on your family, the crops of your land, the young of your livestock, the calves of your herds, the lambs of your flocks, God's blessing on your basket and bread bowl, God's blessing in your coming in, God's blessing in your going out. God will defeat your enemies who attack you. They'll come at you on one road and run away on 7 roads. God will order a blessing on your barns and workplaces. He'll bless you in the land that God your God is giving you. God will form you as a people holy to him, just as he promised you, if you keep the commandments of God your God and live the way he has shown you. All the peoples of earth will see you living under the name of God and hold you in respectful awe. God will lavish you with good things, children from your womb, offspring from your animals, and crops from your land, the land that God promised your ancestors that He would give you. God will throw open the doors of His sky vaults and pour rain on your land on schedule and bless the work you take in hand. You will lend to many nations, but you yourself won't have to take out a loan. God will make you head, not the tail. You'll always be top dog, never the bottom dog, as you obediently listen to and diligently keep the commands of God, your God, that I am commanding you today. Don't swerve an inch to the right or left from the words that I command you today by going off and worshiping other gods. Here's what will happen if you don't obediently listen to the voice of God, your God, and diligently keep all the commandments and guidelines that I'm commanding you today. All these curses will come down hard on you. God's curse in the city, God's curse in the country, God's curse on your basket and bread bowl, God's curse on your children, the crops of your land, the young of your livestock, the calves of your herds, the lambs of your flocks, God's curse in your coming in, God's curse in your going out. God will send the curse, the confusion, the contrariness down on everything you tried to do until you've been destroyed and there's nothing left of you, all because of your evil pursuits that led you to abandon me. God will infect you with the disease, wiping you right off the land that you're going to possess. God will set consumption and fever and rash and seizures and dehydration and blight and jaundice on you. They'll hunt you down until they kill you. The sky over your head will become an iron roof, the ground under your feet a slab of concrete. From out of the sky, gods will rain ash and dust down on you until you suffocate. God will defeat you by enemy attack. You'll come at your enemies on one road and run away on 7 roads. All the kingdoms of earth will see you as a horror. Carrion birds and animals will boldly feast on your dead body with no one to chase them away. God will hit you hard with the boils of Egypt, hemorrhoids, scabs, and an incurable itch. He'll make you go crazy and blind and senile. You'll grope around in the middle of the day like a blind person, feeling his way through a lifetime of darkness. You'll never get to where you're going. Not a day will go by that you're not abused and robbed, and no one is going to help you. You'll get engaged to a woman, and another man will take her for his mistress. You'll build a house and never live in it. You'll plant a garden and never eat so much as a carrot. You'll watch your ox get butchered and not get a single steak from it. Your donkey will be stolen from in front of you, and you'll never see it again. Your sheep will be sent off to your enemies, and no one will lift a hand to help you. Your sons and daughters will be shipped off to foreigners. You'll wear your eyes out looking vainly for them, helpless to do a thing. Your crops and everything you work for will be eaten and used by foreigners. You'll spend the rest of your lives abused and knocked around. What you see will drive you crazy. God will hit you with painful boils on your knees and legs, and no healing or relief from head to foot. God will lead you and the king you set over you to a country neither you nor your ancestors have heard of. There you'll worship other gods, no gods of stones, wood and stone. Among all the peoples where God will take you, you'll be treated as a lesson or a proverb, a horror. You'll plant sacks and sacks of seed in the field, but get almost nothing. The grasshoppers will devour it. You'll plant and hoe and prune vineyards, but won't drink or put up any wine. The worms will devour them. You'll have groves of olive trees everywhere, but you'll have no oil to rub on your face or hands. The olives will have fallen off. You'll have sons and daughters, but they won't be yours for long. They'll go off to captivity. Locusts will take over your trees and crops. The foreigner who lives among you will climb the ladder, higher and higher, while you go deeper and deeper into the hole. He'll lend to you, you won't lend to him. He'll be the head, you'll be the tail. All these curses are going to come down on you. They're going to hunt you down and get you until there's nothing left of you, because you didn't obediently listen to the voice of God, your God, and diligently keep his commandments and guidelines that I commanded you. The curses will serve as signpost warnings to your children ever after. Because you didn't serve God, your God, out of the joy and goodness of your heart in the great abundance, you'll have to serve your enemies whom God will send against you. Life will be famine and drought, rags and wretchedness. Then he'll put an iron yoke on your neck until he's destroyed you. Yes, God will raise up a faraway nation against you, swooping down on you like an eagle, a nation whose language you can't understand, a mean-faced people, cruel to grandmothers and babies alike. They'll ravage the young of your animals and the crops from your fields until you're destroyed. They'll leave nothing behind, no grain, no wine, no oil, no calves, no lambs, and finally, no you. They'll lay siege to you while you're huddled behind your own gates, your town gates. They'll knock those high, proud walls flat, those walls behind which you felt so safe. They'll lay siege to your fortified cities all over the country, this country that God your God has given you. And you'll end up cannibalizing your own sons and daughters that God your God has given you. When the suffering from the siege gets extreme, you're going to eat your own babies. The most gentle and caring man among you will turn hard, his eye evil against his own brother, his cherished wife, and even the rest of his children who are still alive, refusing to share them with the scrap of meat from the cannibal child stew he is eating. He's lost everything, even his humanity, in the suffering of the siege that your enemy mounts against your fortified towns. And the most gentle and caring woman among you, a woman who wouldn't step on a wildflower, will turn hard, her eye evil, against her cherished husband, against her son, against her daughter, against even the afterbirth of her newborn infants. She plans to eat them in secret. She does eat them, because she has lost everything, even her humanity, in the suffering of the siege that your enemy mounts against your fortified towns. If you don't diligently keep all the words of this revelation written in this book, living in holy awe before this name, glorious and terrible, God, your God, then God will pound you with catastrophes, you and your children, huge, interminable catastrophes, hideous, interminable illnesses. He'll bring back and stick you with every old Egyptian malady that once terrorized you. And yes, every disease and catastrophe imaginable, things not even written in the book of this revelation, God will bring on you until you're destroyed. Because you didn't listen obediently to the voice of God, your God. You'll be left with a few pitiful stragglers in place of the dazzling stars in the heavens multitude you have become. And this is how things will end up. Just as God once enjoyed you, took pleasure in making life good for you, giving you many children, so God will enjoy getting rid of you, clearing you off the earth. He'll weed you out of the very soil that you are entering in to possess. He'll scatter you to the four winds from one end of the earth to the other. You'll worship all kinds of other gods, gods neither you nor your parents have ever heard of. Wood and stone, no gods. But you won't find a home there. You'll not be able to settle down. God will give you a restless heart, longing eyes, a homesick soul. You will live in constant jeopardy, terrified of every shadow, never knowing what you'll meet around the next corner. In the morning you'll say, I wish it were evening. In the evening you'll say, I wish it were morning. Afraid, terrorized at what's coming next, afraid of the unknown because of the sights you've witnessed. God will ship you back to Egypt by a road I promised you never see again. There you'll offer yourselves for sale, both men and women, as slaves to your enemies, and not a buyer to be found. And that is it for today's Bible reading. As always, get in touch with God today. See you again tomorrow. Bye.